Dr. Nabil Ayad, Director of the Global Europe Diplomatic Academy, University of Applied Sciences, Europe. Welcome to A News.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to hear your major takeaways from this forum. It started yesterday. The platform, Global South NGO platform, has been established. Its working document has been adopted. And today's day two. What are your major takeaways?
Well, I have been coming to Azerbaijan. This is my sixth visit to the country. My last visit was to participate in the supervising the parliamentary elections. A few years ago, I came with a group of lords and MPs as a British delegation. And I have trained many Azeri diplomats in London. They are serving now in many countries, in Washington, in Brussels, and I have known Azerbaijan through its diplomats who impressed me as caring, committed to the development, projecting a good image and reputation management for the country. So I'm happy to be here. I thought the speech which was provided by the president yesterday set up the agenda for this meeting. And delegates coming from, or participants from different countries who are committed and believed in the role of Azerbaijan in taking the lead in the setting up of the Global South platform. And congratulations for the resolution. And as I said, the president in his speech set up the agenda for the meeting here. This came in following the success of COP29, which was a great success, a good image for Azerbaijan, an example of positive soft power. We talk about universal values. These are values which are enshrined and adopted promoted by Azerbaijan, is a good step forward towards the future.
Sorry for interfering, Dr. Ayad. What was the first time when you came to Azerbaijan? You said it's your sixth visit?
Yes, I think occasion? I came was 2003 or 4.
2003?
It was celebration, to participate in the celebration of the independence of when Azerbaijan was an independent country 90 years ago.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. There must have been.
Yeah, but I helped a great deal in the development of ADA by holding an international conference there.
2003, you said?
No, this was in 2012. In 2012, we have an organization called the International Forum on Diplomatic Training. We meet every year in a different country. Consists of 80 deans and directors of diplomatic academies from all over the world. So, being an active member of that organization, I persuaded my colleague to hold their annual meeting in Baku. And it was hosted by ADA. And we put ADA and Azerbaijan on the map by bringing that selected group of academics.
So back in 2003, when you visited Azerbaijan for the first time for the celebrations of the 95th anniversary of the Republic,
yes,
the Azerbaijani Democratic Republic was established in 1918. So we have had 22 years since that point. The massive time period, of course. How much Azerbaijan has changed? We know they've changed quite
very
dramatically.
Much. No, it's very much.
I mean, if I ask
great
you,
expansion.
If I ask you to explain to us and to our audience in a very condensed form the nature and essence of that change that happened throughout these 22 years, what would be your informed answer to that?
It was a difficult period at the beginning because of the occupation. And I remember coming back here in 2012 with a group of British MPs to discuss the issue of Karabakh, the occupation of Karabakh. I don't want to go into details about the nature of that mission, but it was about the recognition of Karabakh as an integral part of the country, and it should be restored, you know. And many British MPs were with me at that time.
Was that old parliamentary group trip back then, or was it before that, probably?
No, it was before.
See. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, Dr. Adewale.
Well, as I said, the first time I came to the country, I fell in love with the country and its people, the multi-cultural nature, multi-faith, multiculture of the population. That was very impressive and projected a good image. And I've been working closely with the embassy in London, actually with the ambassadors, in dealing with the issue of Karabakh, mainly.
Massive change has happened already. It's
Very
a new
much
country.
so in terms of buildings, streets.
Many people say that after 2020, after the war, Second Karabakh War, Azerbaijan is a completely new country, reborn. There's a new sense of ambition and place in the world. Yes.
Well, this is the departure from the past.
Yes.
By projecting a good image, getting involved globally in universal values and issues which not only affect the country, but the region as a whole. So I'm familiar with the region.
In a sense, I suppose the Karabakh conflict was distracting from that.
Very much so. I mean, it was distraction, but also affected the direction of the foreign policy of the country.
And how has Azerbaijan's foreign policy changed after, let's say, 2020 or 2023 September, when Azerbaijan resumed full de facto control over the remainder of Karabakh? Is it a country with a new sense of identity and with a more ambitious foreign policy agenda, or it's too early to talk about that, although there are some sort of factors that would militate against it?
Well, COP29 was the beginning of the changes and the projection of a new image and involvement in what I call positive diplomacy. That is, adopting universal values, you know. So, and I think the president and his government believe in the new direction that you are an integral part, not only of the region, but globally. And hence, as I said, the conference today is a good example of image projection, reputation management, and nation branding. You have managed to rebrand Azerbaijan as a positive nation state, caring for others and the region.
President Aliyev, when he was delivering a speech, address in early 2024, Azerbaijani parliament, said that we've got only one family. He said that it's Turkic family, saying that Azerbaijan is a member of the Organization of Turkish States. This is one essential aspect of Azerbaijani identity, of course, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's only about Turkic world. It's a multidimensional country. From the UK, from where you are, how does Azerbaijan look when it comes to its identity? Because identity is not set in stone. There are different elements. But which part of that identity looks bigger to you?
Well, Azerbaijan, as a Central Asian country, is different from the neighboring countries. The way British government has a great respect and esteem for Azerbaijan. I know it. So It's the commercial relations, it's the energy relations. That's why I found many former prime ministers visiting this country. They want to know more about it. And things have changed, after the liberation, especially after the liberation of Karabakh. So I think there is room for further development of relations between the two countries.
I just want to emphasize this particular point. We talk about Global South. It's a definition of Global South is incredibly loose. Yesterday I was interviewing a couple of dignitaries. We were talking about South Korea. Is it Global South or is it not Global South? Probably it was Global South in the past, but after being developed, we're not entirely sure in terms of its affiliation with Western world. Turkey, for example, it's very difficult to identify Turkey as a big country with a great heritage. It's a NATO member, but is it really global north? Probably not. Therefore, in the context of this loose definition of Global South and Azerbaijan's sort of rise as an element within this wide scope, is there any danger that may be envisioned in this participation from the perspective of Western countries? Because when you look at it from the perspective of dichotomy, Global South against Global North, as we witnessed during the COP29, it may look like, on an artificial level, of course, that Azerbaijan's presence in the Global South is part of the wide anti-Western rhetoric. What is your take on this point of view?
Well, I have been to Bandung, and I know the spirit of Bandung. When Bandung started with President Nasser, Tito, and Nehru, that was the beginning. And many countries which were colonized, they joined forces together. But then the movement transcended. Today we talk about the global village. So it's very difficult to limit emphasis on geographical, but you share universal values. So hence, there is a room for countries which are geographically based partially in Europe and based partially in the Middle East, let's say. So it's very difficult to identify geography as a basis of South. But the majority, we look at the majority of countries, they are from the South. So, and they have similar issues of development, of difficult challenges for them economically, etc. So I would not go for geographical separation. I believe in the global transcend of the values. We're talking about universal values. Yeah. And being in Azerbaijan as South country, or you mentioned it earlier on, partially can be European.
Yeah, prior to our interview.
Yes, in our previous discussion. So we have to deal with the realities. And what we have witnessed yesterday and today is the way Azerbaijan is going to steer her policy towards promoting the universal values of the South. And congratulations for becoming
and this could be universal values of the global North as well. As I understand from what you said and from what I've heard during my communication with many participants here, we're not talking about the reinstatement of a new form of sort of old polarization. We're talking about sort of a new identity, new understanding of the world, transcending old boundaries. Is that so?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. And I can see that is the emphasis in your foreign or policy, recent one. As I said, now you feel more comfortable to project your image, your values, your understanding of the world, especially for the new generation.
Azerbaijan evidently feels increasingly confident, at least appears to be so, and the peace deal with Armenia is in the offing. It will be signed at some point, maybe not tomorrow, but definitely at some point soon. This seems to be a foregone conclusion. It's a question of prerequisites and so forth. How do you see the future of this region? Because we quite often talk about the House of Caucasus, regional integration involving Azerbaijan, Armenia and Georgia. Do you think that the prospects of that eventuality is likelier than ever before?
I can see the beginning of it, but it will take time. It's not going to be easy.
How long will it take, do you think, for Azerbaijanis and Armenians, bearing in mind what all happened over the decades? This
No, we're not talking
stories.
about decades. I mean, we talk because today we're living in the information age. As I said, everything is digital. So hence, we're talking about a global communication is easy for heads of state to meet, for summits to be held, etc. So the new generation all over in the region, they want peace, they want to see cooperation, they want to forget the past. So I think it's everywhere. But you are departing in a new spirit of cooperation and collaboration. So you are willing to forget part of the past, but to collaborate with Armenia especially. You know, you mentioned Armenia. Georgia is a different category.
So you call it here, overcoming your past, without forgetting it in any way, but just overcoming its burdens in order to have an opportunity to have a bright future.
Very much so, very much so.
Dr. Ayat, so grateful to you for your time. And we started with this Global South NGO platform, its fundamental essentials, and ended up having a conversation about wider themes. So grateful to you for your time. Thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.